Hello, everyone, and welcome to the show where everything is up for discussion. You got me, Jeff, alongside the lovely Shannon. Shannon, how we doing, kiddo?
Good. How you doing, Jeffrey?
Oh, I'm doing fine. How's the foot going?
It's going.
Give us an update. You still got stitches. You still got stuff going on.
It's ugly.
What's happening?
I'm walking. I can't complain.
You're a warrior, kid. You're a trooper.
Warrior. It's there. At least I have a foot, so I'm not going to complain. All is good. I can get around, so.
And I will say that you have been extremely great through this whole thing, right up to the point where you actually thought we were going to be kayaking last weekend.
Oh, I was hoping to be, but you wouldn't let me go, so.
Well, I wouldn't let you go because you have stitches in your foot, kid. And last I checked, lakes are full of bacteria and nasty stuff, and we don't want to take any chances.
And then in the middle of the night, the dogs are licking my ankle and chewing on my stitches. I'm sure there's no bacteria in any of their tongues. So it is what it is. I didn't go kayaking. I wasn't able to live life to the fullest. So
all right. Well, we may do.
Well.
Good time down there. And hello to everybody down in Pennsylvania who is such a great bunch of hosts and hostesses to us. We certainly appreciate that. And as Shannon continues to recover from foot surgery, we do welcome her back into the studio, and glad that you're up and getting around again, kid. It's good to see you making progress every single day.
Thanks, Jeff.
All right.
It's good to get around.
All right, we do have some breaking news. Breaking news coming out of Indianapolis, Indiana. Fox has confirmed that Jared Fogle, the former Subway spokesperson, is expected to plead guilty to possession of child pornography charges. Sources say Fogle will accept a plea deal on Wednesday. The U.S. District Attorney's Office will hold a press conference tomorrow afternoon to discuss the deal and charges against Fogle. Fogle's attorney, Ron Elberger, had no comment in regards to the plea deal. He said any information regarding the charges would come from the attorney's office. Elberger did not say Fogle's suspension with Subway continues or not. My guess is, Shannon, that the suspension is going to continue with Jared. That is just effed up. I mean, Jared. First we have Bill Cosby. Okay, first we have America's Dad, and now we've got the Subway guy. What the hell's going on?
I'm kind of speechless about this whole thing. I'm sorry.
Can you believe you had nothing?
Got a Subway perv on the loose out there. I mean, that's just disgusting. So the guy's twisted, and I wonder how much stock has plummeted for Subway tonight.
I know. And I was just talking about going to Subway tonight, too.
You were going to.
And then all of a sudden the headline comes up.
Who saw this coming? At first they were just saying that he might have just been, he might just know this dude, that he was in partners of a charity of all things, of course, because, people that always...
Really?
People that always preach namaste are the biggest, nastiest, sometimes people on the planet. But in this case, it's true. It's very distribing.
Wow. I can't believe it.
He's no different than the athletes that just take everything they can financially and think they're invincible, and they're just ungrateful for what they have, and it's sick. It's really sick.
I know. And here's a kid that had it made. I mean, he was, overweight. Probably not, let's say, a rich person, and then all of a sudden
he's a college kid by all means.
So he's the Subway spokesperson, and he probably made quite a few bucks.
He did. Did you see the house he lived in?
No, but I was just short. I was just short of checking out his net worth when I was pulling the story, because the story's so fresh. It just got confirmed. So I suppose he's worth a ton, and boy, it goes to show you there is no bottom to these people, is there, Shan? Unbelievable.
I mean, I'm just kind of in shock that their spokesperson was a perv.
I think we all
child
are.
Pornography. He's gonna lose everything he had, and
oh yeah, no doubt.
Who saw this coming?
Nobody saw this coming. Nobody at all. The heat of the summer is also here, so we want to remind you guys to keep an eye on your elderly folks in the neighborhood. If there's an old lady or gentleman in the neighborhood, let's make sure they're not out in the sun too long. Let's make sure they're hydrated, and let's make sure they're safe, as well as kids and pets, especially kids and pets, when it comes to leaving them in automobiles, folks. We've done a show on this before. We've all heard the story about the guy that left the kid in the car and the kid died. Please, folks, do not leave your pets in the car. Do not leave your kids in the car. It's 90 degrees out, and with the windows up, and you know, that's 100+ degrees in the car, and there isn't anybody that can survive that. So let's be smart about it this summer. Let's enjoy the heat, and let's keep our kids, our pets, and the elderly safe from harm. Right, Shan?
Yeah, they can't last like 10 seconds.
No.
You know, you go into your car after grocery shopping or running an errand or driving to work or whatever. You get in your car and you're like putting your key in the ignition and it's like, oh my God, it's so hot in here. I can't even breathe. That's just in seconds.
I know. Tell me about it.
Never mind. Elderly especially. Don't leave grandparents, parents.
We were just at a little flea market over the weekend, and a dog shelter was there selling cookies and stuff like that. And they actually had a pad made up with coupons, let's call them, or tags, if you will, to put on people's cars that have a pet in the car. And I would even go one further than that. I'd be on the phone. I mean, if you see a pet in a car, it doesn't have long in this kind of heat before something very, very
What
bad
does the tag
happens.
do?
So, well, the tag reminds people not to keep their pets in the car. You know, you put
Be calling the police.
It's kind of like, you know,
They're just gonna.
it's kind of like the cart after the horse. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
probably
if
a
there's
little
two
too
dogs in the
late.
back seat of a car and it's 90 degrees out, I'm not going to tag it. I'm going to be banging down a window and calling the cops.
I'm with you.
That's silly, but I'm glad people care.
Yeah, I mean, it is that
Tough time
time
of
of year. It is that time of year. And this time of year last year, we were reporting again on the guy that left his kid in the car. And, you know,
Oops.
Can't do that. Can't
Killed
leave
the
kids,
baby.
can't leave babies. And,
There's a staggering amount of children left in vehicles every year
Boy, there
that
really
end up
is.
perishing due to parental forgetfulness.
Yeah. Oh, you're
How does
right.
that happen?
You're
How
right.
do you forget your child in the back seat of a car?
And
Do you have to set timers?
They're even going as far as to like say, okay, keep one of the kids' toys in the front seat. So if you're dumb enough to forget the kids in the back seat, at least you can look over at the toy in the seat before you leave the car and know that the kid's still in the back. I mean, how stupid is that?
That's if you didn't leave the child in the seat up on the roof. Remember that one?
Yeah, the kid on the roof in the car
Holy
seat.
crap.
Unbelievable.
I mean,
Unbelievable.
parents, my God, I know you're not getting a good sleep because the kid's wailing away at night, but don't forget your child. I couldn't do that.
I hear you. All right, folks, so we definitely want to remind you to stay safe this summer, and we definitely want to thank all of those that make this show possible, starting with our very own Shancakes over there on 368 Central Street. You can find out more about them and the recent expansion going on, a lot of exciting things going on there. To find out more, you can call them at 978-840-4343, or you can visit them online at shancakes.com. We also want to say a special hello to our friends over at Leominster Storage Solutions, also expanding right next to Shancakes on Central Street, a very, very busy area over there for the businesses in Leominster. And to find out more, you can call them today at 466-8887, or you can find out more by visiting them online at leominsterstorage.solutions.com. And no morning would be complete without my cup of Sasquatch coffee. So we definitely want to thank our friends out there, Gunnar and the crew out in Oregon, for their participation in the show. And to find out more, you can visit them at squatchcoffee.com. And last but not least, the most delicious Italian restaurant this side of Boston, Mariano's in Pepperell. To find out more, you can give Pam a call over there at 978-433-6633, or visit them online at marianositalian.com. Now, we thank you all for joining us, not only watching us on your television sets in L.A., Shannon, which is, of course, the Leominster area, but now we're also streaming worldwide on UpForDiscussionLive.com and also on myptvonline.com. So that's where you can find us. All right. We have a great show for you tonight. We have a jam-packed show. And coming up later in the show, comedian, funny man, and comedy kitchen chef himself, Dennis Wirth, is going to be joining us very soon to break down the Comedy Kitchen, tell us a little bit about what he's going on, and a few laughs along the way as well. And, of course, we have your little lovely there, Shannon Sylvie, who's going to be bringing you the Who Does That, as only she can, a little bit later in the show as well. So, very good. Now, we also want to remind you guys to like us on Facebook, facebook.com/Up for Discussion Live, and now on our new Twitter pages. At Jeffrey L. Sylvia is where you can find me. At Shannon Sylvia is where you can find her. And at Up for Discussion. So I guess, Shannon, well, you know, I'm 50 years old pretty soon. I fought this shit as long as I can. But now I've succumbed, and I'm in the world of tweeting. I don't know how I feel about this.
Tweet.
I have a young intern friend that speaks Twitter much better than me. That's going to be helping me out with this. So
Twitter is narcissistic.
Why do you say that?
It's just basic one-liners about yourself. Unless you're Kim Kardashian or Bradley Cooper, nobody really cares. I'm sorry.
Well, that's what it is because they limit you to like 130 characters. So it's like, say what you want to say, fast forward society, and get the hell
not
out,
140,
right?
not 125, 130 characters, which is quite limiting at times.
I know, because somewhere in the board meeting, they all sat around and figured out that you could say anything you wanted to say to anybody in the world in 130 characters or less.
It's bizarre. It's bizarre. Isn't there that like what is that Snapchat thing?
Snapchat, yeah. That's supposed to be like something you throw up there and then it disappears after a while. Is that the one that does that?
I wouldn't know. Jeffrey,
I'm not on Snapchat, so I have no idea.
Hiding messages?
I know there's Snapchat, there's Instagram, of course, Twitter and Facebook.
There's this thing that just records like quickie little 30-second videos or 10-second videos of people's lives. I don't have time for that. I don't want to go up there and see what my friends are videotaping for a few seconds at a time.
We can thank Al Gore and all of his genius in the interweb
thank God.
for all this crap,
God.
right?
Stupid.
All right, guys. Every week we reach out to you on social media. This week is no exception, and we ask for your public opinion. And we're actually going to bring Dennis in on this in a little bit. We're going to get started here, but we definitely want to start this with you guys as well. And we asked folks what they thought about kids getting awards for participating, and this stems from a story out of Pittsburgh where NFL Steeler James Harrison. He took a stand, a very strong stand, and a very strong opinion that he put upon his kids. He actually took their trophies back and returned them, and said he is against participation trophies that are not earned and just given to those folks who participate. So we asked you on Facebook, we asked you on Twitter what you guys thought, and there was a lot of great answers, Shannon, and most of the people were like, okay, it's very important to teach the kids to learn the difference between greatness and excelling and just being average. And there was a lot of people that backed that up. There were a couple people that also said something to the effect that, well, it depends on the age. Kids need to learn how to lose and also how to appreciate those who have excelled and to congratulate them properly. That was something that was mentioned. But it was also mentioned very, very big part of this conversation as well. And, we always try to get the twists and turns, but there was a gentleman that mentioned the Special Olympics, and that kind of has a whole new dimension to it. And that's kind of what I was looking for in the whole thing is, okay, kids that show up normally for school, for baseball teams or whatever, maybe there does need to be some sort of like encouragement for excelling. But when you're talking about the Special Olympics, Shan, these kids, I think it's a heroic and extraordinary effort just to make it to these games because. Think about what they're overcoming in their personal lives and their personal disabilities. Maybe that's the exception. So I kind of want to go to the chat room as we throw up some figures and ask you guys, what do you think about what Mr. Harrison calls participation trophies? He's against them. And he says kids shouldn't have them. What do you think, Shane?
Mike in the chat room, he hails from Texas, says kids should be encouraged to participate. However, rewards should be earned.
Okay. I like that very much. I like that very much. Because, in my opinion, and again, Special Olympics is going to be the exception to this because I do feel that Special Olympics, I think that every kid that makes that to that level, should be honored in some way. But I also agree with Mike. I think it's very important to encourage kids to participate, but it is also as important to show kids the difference between being the best and striving to be the best.
Yep.
And I think that's very, very important.
Well, what is the point of competition if everybody was going to get the same prize?
And as somebody else said in the thread, life doesn't hand out awards for showing up.
Yeah. And just like you men at home, you don't get a big pat on the head just because you vacuumed the floor or put away the dishes.
What do you mean? What are you talking about?
You guys all want awards. Oh, I spent all afternoon cleaning the house.
No, what we really want is sexual favors. That's what we want.
We all know that, but you don't deserve special recognition, especially when us ladies don't get it when we do it.
It's a heroic effort for a man to pick up a vacuum. It's demasculating.
No,
we usually out there fixing the car or fixing the garbage.
How are you? I have a car that needs fixing. You want to get going on that?
All right, let's check out what the country has to say. And this is very interesting. I'm going to show you two statistics here. And the first one is, should kids get participation trophies? You're going to find as the average income of a family in America goes up. The I guess the cry for equal participation trophies goes down, and only winners get trophies goes up. So maybe there's a coalition there to where if you want to be the best, you want to make money, you want to learn about the world, you're going to have to distinguish yourself, from the rest of the kids and not just get a trophy for showing up.
Isn't that interesting?
It's a very interesting graph there. As the average income goes up, the ratio gets spread apart even more. Now,
Really
here's even another statistic that's pretty interesting. The majority of Americans from any walk of life said kids who win should get trophies. 57% said only winners should get trophies. 40% said all the kids should get the trophies. So
a staggering amount.
A staggering amount, and quite a big difference there. So, we find it pretty interesting.
I'm wondering if the people that are, the 40% of those people are just thinking that, all kids should get trophies to make everybody feel equal. However, competition's competition. It's been around for millions of years. And if there's one person that excels at something like the Olympics, there's going to be a winner. And sprinkles are for winner.
Sprinkles are for winners, as the lady in the progressive commercial.
I don't understand why this is even a debate.
Flo says it best. When the guy's sitting there with Flo and he's had a hard day and she's going to take him for ice cream and he says, "Flo, can I have sprinkles?" And she looks at him, Shannon, she says, "Shan,
sprinkles are for winners."
That's right. There we go. Sprinkles are for winners. So I think Flo's got the right idea. Maybe just giving the sprinkles to the kids that are doing well. I don't know. But we've got a lot of ground to cover tonight, guys. When we come back, funny man Dennis Wirth is going to be joining us here on the show. We're going to talk about not only participation trophies, but a whole lot more. So stick around. You're watching Up for Discussion Live. We'll be right back after this.
Up for Discussion Live is brought to you in part by Lemonster Storage Solutions, Sasquatch Coffee, Mariano's Restaurante.
And now back to Up for Discussion right here on Para-Rock TV.
All right, guys, he is the host of Comedy Kitchen here in Leominster, Massachusetts, and now welcoming to the show, Dennis Wirth. How are you, Dennis?
Hey, Jeff and Shannon, thanks so much
Dennis.
for having me on.
Oh, thanks so much for joining us, man. You and I have been working together for a while now on your show, and we've been wanting to get you on. And what you do is very unique, and it's very exciting, and it's also very funny. So you're a comedian, and you're a chef, and you bring that all together in a show called The Comedy Kitchen. So I'd love you to tell the folks that haven't seen that show a little bit about it, how you get started, and what it's all about.
Well, if you haven't seen the show, then tune in on YouTube, and you'll see I'm a pretty big guy, and big guys like to eat. So I figured I love to eat and I love comedy, so I put the two together, and I got a lot of compliments. A lot of people do cooking shows, a lot of people do comedy, but I was the first one they ever heard of combining the two. So
Good.
Bring on all my friends from the comedy world. We're getting some recipes out, cooking them up, and then my favorite part, the eating part at the end. And as you know, we're starting to get bigger guests on. The show's starting to take off, so that's good stuff.
Oh, absolutely. And Shannon, I will tell you that one of the perks of being Dennis's producer is that I do get to eat what he cooks at the end. I usually get a nibble or two in there, so it works out pretty well for me.
Why am I not in the studio audience getting samples they do on talk shows? You
are totally welcome to be in the studio audience any Saturday that we do that. Matter of fact, we'd love to have you in the studio audience.
I'd love to be there.
It'd be great.
I want samples. What do you get to eat? What are some of the things you get to sample?
Oh, Dennis, what did you cook last time? You cooked some orange beef last time.
We had
didn't
some
you?
orange beef last time. Keep an eye on Jeff, Shannon. He'll be as big as me if you keep directing my show.
Well, we don't want that. That's what makes you special, Dennis.
So yeah, you've had some great guests on, from all over the comedy scene. Some of the guns have come out of Boston. Why don't you tell us about some of the guests that you've had recently?
Well, recently we had on Tom Cotter, took first place on America's Got Talent, and his lovely wife, Carrie Louise, who was on Last Comic Standing and Oprah Winfrey. They were nice enough to come on, and the guy that actually opened the door was the king of Boston comedy, Steve Sweeney. He was the first major guest I had on the Boston scene, and once he walked through the door, how could anybody else say no? So I am still in debt to Steve for coming on down. It was a great show.
It really was, and that, of course, he was in Something About Mary, and has done a ton of movies and stuff, and he's all over the Boston comedy scene. So it's great to see him. And that couple you mentioned reminded me a little bit of us. They had a lot of chemistry together. They were very funny.
Are they fighting the whole time?
Well, no, they weren't quite fighting the whole time like we do. That's just you. You're very
Jabs
unique.
at each other a little bit.
Yeah, we call this colorful commentary from Shane and Sylvia. That's what we've come to coin it as. But, yeah, you've been doing comedy for a while, and also along with the comedy, what you do that really impresses me, Dennis, is you do a ton of charity work. I mean, you're just about doing something for every cause on the planet, from the homeless to the vets to the animals. What got you going with all that stuff?
Yeah, I mean, when you're younger, money's so important to you. As you get older, nobody's going to talk about who had the most money when they die, but they talk about, who did good in the world. And my sister, she had muscular dystrophy. She lived till 21, so I lived with her all the time. And an ex-girlfriend of mine had a bout with cancer, and she's still going through that. And a very good friend of mine's going through a bout with cancer. And, it's tough to see the people you care about suffering like that. You want to do something so much, and raising money, it's a great way to try to give back, to help out other people who's going through the same thing.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, you did a comedy bit with Steve Sweeney up at the Westminster Country Club just recently, and tell us a little bit about that. You raised some great dough, and that was for a great cause.
Well, Steve came down, and it was tough show to put together. I think I took a year off of my life putting it together, but hey, we got it done. Yeah, we had about 250 people in there, and they absolutely enjoyed the night, and they have been begging me to do another. So you want me to break it right here on Up for Discussion Live?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Let's do it.
All right. I'm going to give you guys, this is the first time I've told anybody we're going to break it. October 17th, we're back at the Westminster Country Club.
Nice.
And we got Kid Dynamite, Jimmy J.J. Walker coming down. So
wow.
Nice.
Words out first here on your show.
Wow.
That's fantastic. Now, J.J. Dynamite, that goes back quite a ways, man. He's been in the comedy scene for a long, long time.
Oh, he's one of the legends, yeah. Who didn't grow up watching him on Good Times?
Exactly. Now, when you were dealing with his people, it was kind of funny because Shannon, I know you have what they call a rider. When you get a superstar like Shannon coming into town, they have these things that they give to the people that are accepting them. They're called riders.
Yeah.
And what they do is they have maybe a few little idiosyncrasies that they want to have smoothed out. And
I've
for
got
Shannon, I think it wasn't Skittles. What was
Red
it?
Skittles.
Red Skittles. Okay, so you had Red Skittles in the room. That was your big thing as your rider, right?
They used to just give me a whole bag, and I had to pick out the red ones.
Yeah, the red ones yourself.
I was a Z.
She had her people pick out the red ones for her. But J.J. Walker had a rider, Dennis. It was you and I were talking about it. What were some of the funny things that he was talking about?
Well, apparently he's a big fan. I hope he don't get mad, but he's a big fan of Welch's grape juice, so we'll give them a plug right there.
Oh, my God, I like him already.
He wants some Welch's grape juice
yeah.
and some lemons, too, which from what I heard, that helps your voice before the show, I guess. I think it was Shannon telling me that, I don't know.
Yeah,
no,
think so.
you lost me there.
Somebody was.
That's awesome. So you've done the TV show, and you've been doing the TV show for quite a while, because when I was up on your Facebook page and on your website, which we'll get to in a little bit, I was looking at some old pictures from the old LATV studio that I didn't even recognize. Shannon, this was like well before my time even. So been doing the TV show a long time. Also been doing some radio along the way. Tell us about some of your radio shows you did.
We had an internet radio show called the Lots of Laughs Comedy Show, and I love to listen to comedy as much as I love to do it, so usually we do a little bit of mix of comedy and music on the show. I'm on Sunday nights, 7 to 9 p.m. at theglowradio.com, and it's just we extend the weekend, we chill out on there. Every now and then I'll get some of my comedy friends on as guests, but mostly it's just enjoying listening to your favorite comics, and there's a whole lot out there, so it's a fun time.
That's awesome. If you guys want to call into Dennis, the number here is 323-902-6661. If you get a question for our comedian Dennis Wirth tonight, or you want to make a comment about what's going on, we also have the chat rolling right along here. We want to say hi to everybody in the chat for joining us around the world, which kind of makes us a little unique. We're a little bit more, as you know, than just a radio show or a TV show. We're interactive with you guys, and that's what makes it fun. And it's always great to meet people from around the world joining us here in our live chat. So getting back with Dennis and the comedy routine that he does. It's a little bit comedy, it's a little bit food, and it's a whole lot of fun. And the first part of it, you interview the guests, then you do a little cooking, and then your guest does a little bit of stand-up comedy at the end, doesn't he?
Nice.
Or she?
Yeah, it's a nice little mix I try to get in there. We teach you how to make a dish, you get to joke around, get interviewed, and then a little bit of their comedy at the end is a nice way to end it off. So
that's awesome.
And the show's really taken off since you've become director. We're really making it pop. So kudos to you also, Jeff.
Well, checks in the mail.
We're going to have a reverse show, Jeff.
He gets his free food. He's all set.
That's it. I put that in my my negotiations for this season.
In his contract.
We should do a reverse show where I'm going to cook a dish and then we bring on the funny guy.
You want to cook a dish and then we want to bring somebody on?
Yeah, we'll bring him on and do the act at the end, and I'll be cooking and he can join me. We'll interview him throughout the whole thing.
Well, why don't you come on to the Comedy Kitchen sometime, kid? You're pretty funny.
We'll get Shannon down there and she can show us one of her Shane Cake's favorites.
That's
Absolutely.
right.
I was kind of thinking my meatloaf though, but yeah, we could work that in.
Yeah.
Everybody's been asking me to do some comedy on there. I know there's usually a guest doing it, but that might be a good opportunity for him.
It should be you. We want to hear you. Hopefully, we're going to hear something today, right?
I think we're going to hear something today.
Good.
Dennis, we're going to put you on the spot here, buddy, because I know you're touring, you're out doing your thing, you're out doing live gigs everywhere, and why don't you give us a little bit of maybe something that's coming up, or maybe something that you just did, but why don't you make us laugh a little bit here? What do we got for us?
Well, you're breaking up a little bit, so what was my question again?
I'd love to hear a little bit of your comedy, because I know you have a great routine, and for folks that haven't heard you, I'd love to give them a little taste of what you have.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm on the spot now. Well, the first routine I came up with was the child support superhero, which I guess we were going to get into later. And
yeah, great segue.
Took a comedy class, and they said, write about what's real life to you, and I know all about paying child support, so... I find it interesting that America is the greatest country in the world, yet they need a third of my paycheck to raise a child. Then I turn on the TV, I see where you can raise a kid over in Africa for just 62 cents a day. The price of a cup of coffee, These are the things that confuse me. But you got to check out the child support superhero on Facebook. He's kind of like the reverse Superman. Superman's got a big red S in his chest. He's got a green dollar sign. Mm-hmm. Superman wears knee-high red leather boots. All he can afford is a pair of flip-flops. Mm-hmm. Superman's got a long red cape. He's got an old beach towel with holes in it. And Superman can leap tall buildings in a single bound.
Yes,
the money I paid my ex, she can purchase the tall building Superman leaps over.
That's right, yeah. Park it right next to Trump's building.
That's right. Superman's faster than a speeding bullet. State of Mass, give my ex money for my paycheck faster than the speed of light.
Yeah, that's so true.
Superman's stronger than a locomotive. After my divorce, I walked out of court feeling like I had been hit by a locomotive. You guys really want to hear what the child support superhero does?
Yeah, I really do. Absolutely.
Right, man. He waits until it's late at night, midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning. He puts on his costume, then goes down to the local parking lots.
Okay.
Then he scans the parking lots with his X-ray vision until he sees a car with a young couple making out inside of it.
Okay.
Then he slowly sneaks up to the car. He slides along the car up to the driver's side window. He breaks the window, throws a package of condoms on the front seat, then goes running down the street screaming, "You'll thank me later!"
Wow.
Yes, Shannon and I joke about this all the time. I always think that, God kind of got this one screwed up a little bit, because when God made man and woman, he made it to where, you could procreate, and you'd have to actually get an operation to stop you from procreating, i.e. the vasectomy or the lady getting fixed or whatever. Now just think about things for a second. What if God made it so you had to have an operation so you could have kids? Think about how that might change the world, Dennis. What do you think about that?
Well, that might be a little difficult in third world
I
countries.
gotta tell you, two's reaction is what I get live. The guys usually crack up, and the girls like, "Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god."
Yeah.
Your reaction was perfect to that routine.
The truth hurts. The truth hurts. But as we all know, and we'll use the great Robin Williams as an example here. Comedy doesn't always come from the happiest of places, and a lot of times, people have to laugh at things in their lives and along the way in their journey, in order to stay strong and to stay focused and to stay in the world and to stay functioning in the world. And needless to say, I think that's probably a little bit goes a little bit for all of us. So, you've had some experiences that are very similar to a lot of guys out there. And then when you get into divorce and you get into the child support superhero, obviously, you know, kids are involved there. I'm going to let you break from here and tell the folks a little bit about your struggles and how they've come to lead you to kind of, you know, take a more comical look at things in order to preserve maybe a little bit of yourself.
Yeah, they say laughter is the best medicine, and you know, sometimes when something's so ridiculous in life that it hurts you, you have to just say, you know what, I got to find the humor in it, because you're not going to make sense of it. And
So
certainly
true.
going into court, you know, you live in America, you know, it's the best country in the world. You taught in school, and I expected to be treated fairly, and I was treated anything but fairly. It was, you know, they looked at you like, you want to be an equal part of your kid's life? What, are you crazy or something? I was like, it was such a fight just to even be a small part of his life, and all I wanted to be was a dad to him, not a visitor. But unfortunately, that's not the world we live in. And so I laugh about it, was creating the character, and I tried to make other people laugh about it by doing that routine. But while I got them laughing, I'm also educating them about it, and that, you know, spreading awareness is the key to solving any cause. And I think, you know, I'm doing my part to help spread awareness, you know, out to people.
Absolutely, and a lot of the great ones, you know, have done that. You know, we mentioned Robin Williams. George Carlin's another one. I mean, he had a message behind his routine, and it was a very serious message, and a very bright and intelligent message too. And I know, you know, from your experience, when you talk about parents alienating, you know, kids from the other parent going through a divorce, it's a very, very difficult scene, because the kids are always caught in the middle and never, ever the source of the problem. When parents split up and you know, divorce happens, nobody really talks about how, you know, how the long-term effects are when one parent takes a stand that, hey, you say black, I say white. You say white, I say screw you black, and I'm going to make it impossible, you know, for you to have a relationship with your kids. And even, you know, I know the best fathers in the world that have been there every step of the way, and it just takes, you know, one situation with a bad parent and a little bit of pushing in the wrong direction. Next thing you know, years have gone by and you don't see your kid.
Yeah, you know, they always say take the high road, take the high road. I mean, when we did break up, he was only 1 year old, and the first thing they did was send us to dealing with divorce. And the first thing that class teaches you is don't put the child in the middle. And I always told him, you know, any problems me and your mother have it between us. She's your mother, love her no matter what. And unfortunately, what she told him back was, your dad owes me more money, he should give me more money. And, you know, that's what he ended up believing. I mean, that system only works if both parents stick to it. And, you know, I don't want to say I should have bashed her in return, but I mean, that's what he ended up believing, was what she was putting in his head. And me taking the high road, you know, really didn't pay off. They say take the high road, it'll pay off. And it's sad, because the child suffers, and I've done the research. You know, the long-term effects of parental alienation is severe depression, in some cases suicide, and it's sad that it comes to that. The parents can't put their, you know, child above their own petty differences. But
boy, that's the truth. And you know, you're right. Statistics show, and if you read, you know, about girls that don't have fathers in their lives, or boys that don't have mothers in their lives, you know, there's a whole host of problems that leads to it. And you know, it's not necessarily because somebody doesn't have good guidance, because even if the spouse remarries well, let's say to a good parent, there's only one dad, there's only one mom. No matter how good or bad that is, you know, that relationship is still so important. And I think that, you know, unless you're talking about somebody that's just fallen off the edge of the earth on drugs or a mass murderer or something, I mean, we're talking about normal average people that have had a difficult time in life with marriage, and you know, take it out on the other spouse unfairly. And, you know, Shannon, I know you've seen friends like that. You have friends like that. I have friends like that. And you know, I think what we can do as a society is just to continue to educate and continue to talk about it. And if you look at guys like us, Dennis, this is my point. You look at guys like us, there isn't a whole lot of support systems out there. There's a few, but man, they're hard to find. So when a guy like you comes along and, you know, makes a little comedy out of it, maybe mixes a little bit of, you know, a little lesson in there for folks to learn from, it's very valuable for somebody that's having a hell of a month to go out on a Saturday night and see you and hear that. What kind of reactions are you getting from your fans?
I've become somewhat of a therapist. I never expected it. I just wanted to do the routine and, spread the message. But so many times after shows, the show will be open, and people come up out of the audience and they seek me out and they want to tell me their story. And some of these stories, when you think you had it bad, they've just blown my mind. And every time I said, that's it, I'll never hear a story worse than that. And somebody else will come up and tell me another one, and it just blows my mind even more. And I started out, they started writing into my Facebook page, the Child Support Superhero, and telling me their story, and I've been putting videos together. I only use the first name, they remain anonymous, and I've been telling the stories. And so if anybody out there wants to write in and tell me their story, I'd be happy to make a video at it and put it out there. I am in search of the ultimate story, because every time I think I've heard the worst one, it just keeps getting more ridiculous. So,
boy, you're not kidding.
Yeah, awareness is the key. Everybody's got to spread it. That's the key to solving the problem.
You're not kidding. You're not kidding. And you're right. Every time you think you hear a horror story, there's some more out there that
it's worse.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not afraid to say I went through divorce, and I had kids and went through a very similar situation. And in the same courthouse that I feel I got screwed in, just a few months after, there was a gentleman that went through the ringer. He was actually a Massachusetts resident, and she moved to New Hampshire. The case ended up in Keene District Court, and the magistrate there screwed him. Just, there's no other way to put it. The guy went outside of the courthouse that day, lit himself on fire, and killed himself on the courthouse lawn.
It was all over the news.
This is no joke, guys. This is serious stuff. We're talking about families. We're talking about fathers and mothers. And, Jesus, if you can't stay together, that's fine. I mean, there's 50% of the people are ending in divorce anyway. But man, when it comes to the kids, I've seen it work. I mean, Shannon, we've seen not only bad couples, but we've also seen good couples. I mean, just and I'm not going to mention any names, but just who we were visiting this past weekend, they have a tremendous relationship, and you can see how good it is for the kids.
Well, they both love the child very much, and they both do what it takes to make it work. I know quite a few people who they get along with the ex for that one reason, because they have their child's best interest. But unfortunately, the majority of parents do not have the child's best interest, and they just have it out for the ex, and it's just going to get real dirty. I got to say, I've watched my parents go through this for a very, very long time, to the point where while I was still in school, I emancipated myself from my parents in front of a judge.
Yep.
I do not want any of my parents legally responsible for me financially anymore, because I just couldn't take it, to be honest with you. I couldn't take it anymore. And not a lot of children are going to go up and do that.
No, I was going to say, you're the exception to the rule
when it comes
to that,
but
no doubt about it.
It was just so bad.
Yeah, it's sad. It's become a $1 billion a year industry. It used to be about what's in the best interest of the child. Now it's a big money business now, child support.
Yep.
Oh, I'll tell you. And if you think your attorney's out to help you, ladies, when you think you're screwing your guy really bad because you got a great attorney and he's going to stick it to him, or guys, if you think you caught the cheating bitch and now you're going to get it stuck to her through the attorney, I got news for you. These attorneys are all having lunch together, and they're all planning how to spend your money, because the longer they keep you fighting, the more money you spend on them, and the more money you spend on them is the quicker they get to buy their brand new Mercedes. So
big business.
It sure is. Dennis, what do you got coming up here? I know we've got about 5 minutes left, and I want to get into some shows that you have coming, some events that you have coming up, and where folks can find you.
All right, on August 29th, we're going to be at Christopher's Pub in Leominster, Mass. That's right after the food festival that me and you were filming for raising money for the Dana-Farber Cancer Institute.
Awesome.
On September 11th, we're over at the Elks Club in Leominster, Mass., and that's for Mike Delamonica, who's running for Leominster School Committee. We're going to be raising money for his campaign.
Good man.
On August 19th, we're at the Eagles in Leominster, raising money for Leominster Pop Warner, so come on out and support the kids that night.
Super.
On August 26th, we're at the Auxiliary in Oxford, Mass., and we're raising money for military families that night, so that's a great cause to help them out for the holidays. So you want to make that one. And then, again, the big show on October 17th, Westminster Country Club, J.J. Walker, Kid Dynamite.
Wow, Dynamite.
That's really
You can see me on each one of them also, so it's worth coming out.
That's fantastic. And if folks want to find out about you, they can go to denniswirth.webs.com.
Yeah, www.com, and that's got a link to my comedy, the Comedy Kitchen, the Glow Radio, the Child Support Superhero. It's the hub of everything. You can check me out there.
Awesome. All right, so you get the Comedy Kitchen going. You're on tour doing your comedy routine. You got the Child Support Superhero thing going. 5 years from now, where do you want to be with this thing? Where does the Comedy Kitchen take you in 5 years?
Well, I was getting in touch with the Food Network, and it's a long shot, but a long shot's better than no shot, and they liked the idea of the show, and they told me what to work on and what they liked, what they didn't like, and I am going to try to work on what they like, and they're willing to talk to me again. Whether that leads me anywhere or not's yet to be seen, but I'm trying, and that's all anybody can do in life is try.
Never say never.
That's right.
Never say never. And I'll give you another breaking one. Starting next year, I'm actually going to be starting the Men in Purple comedy tour, and I'm actually going to be going out to a lot of cities of Mass and raising money for a child's right to both parents. So be watching out for the Men in Purple comedy tour be coming next year.
Very, very cool. Very, very cool. Dennis, I love what you do. It's a pleasure to be a part of your production. And guys, if you haven't checked it out yet, check out the Comedy Kitchen on LATV. Check your local listings for details. It's a great show, great guests, and the only thing you can't do is taste the food, but you can do that if you come down and watch the show taped live. And Dennis does a great job of putting that stuff up on Facebook. We'd love to have you guys as our audience, and everybody that comes down usually gets to nibble a little something, at least get to smell it. And not for nothing, but you also have quite a few great musicians that have come through the door, Dennis.
Yeah, we've had Derek Drown from America's Got Talent. We had Nashville star Tim LaRoche. We had Ross McGinnis up there. We had the Blue Knife. Recycled, a lot of bands. Yeah, we're getting the best in comedy, best in music, best in food. So come on up on a Saturday morning if you're in Leominster and be part of the studio audience. It's free and fun.
Cool.
All right. Dennis Wirth has been our guest tonight. Thank you so much, Dennis, for joining us, and we will definitely catch the Comedy Kitchen on LATV and stay close to the child support superhero. Thanks, Dennis.
Thanks for having me on, guys. Remember, laughter is the best medicine. Good night.
It certainly is. And laughter definitely is the best medicine, guys. We love to keep you guys laughing. We also love to keep you guys informed on what's going on and around the world. And nobody does that better than our little Shannon Sylvia, who's going to be bringing you the Who Does That when we come back. Stick around.
Up for discussion with Jeff and Shannon Sylvia. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
From Queensland, and you're watching Terror Rock TV.
Oh yeah, when you hear that music, it can only mean one thing. It's that segment of the program when Shannon Sylvia asks, who does that? And now, ladies and gentlemen, I give you Shannon Sylvia.
Howdy, guys. Best part of the show ever. Way better than Dennis Wirth. I'm just kidding. The Who Does That segment of the program. What does that mean? That means that I have found you 3 incredible stories for the evening that are completely true. If you don't believe me, you can find it on the internet. So it must be true. The first story hails out of Boston, our good old Boston, Massachusetts.
Boston.
Yes. One Massachusetts chicken is about to get a costly leg up on life, a $2,500 prosthetic limb made from a 3D printer.
Wow.
Chicken foot. The chicken named Cicely is headed into surgery for the start of a first-of-its-kind procedure to fit her with an artificial limb, says her owner, Andrea Martin of Black Thistle Farm.
Wow.
Cicely is only 3 months old, was born with a torn tendon in her right leg that limits her mobility. When Martin took her to Tufts University, Cummings School of Veterinary Medicine, to be examined, she was given 2 choices, either euthanasia or she needs a prosthetic. It was a no-brainer, says Martin in a phone interview. She needs to be able to live a normal life.
Because we love our chickens.
Martin's Farm, located in Clinton, which is just our next door neighboring
Really?
town.
Clinton, Massachusetts?
Yes.
There's a chicken with a prosthetic leg in Clinton, Massachusetts?
We're going to have to find this Black Thistle Farm. And
I
go see
smell
this
road
chicken.
trip coming.
I think we should,
An up for
actually.
discussion
it
road
can't be
trip.
that hard to find her. She specialized in chicken rehabilitation, and this isn't the first time that she has splurged on surgery for
Chicken rehab.
One of her hens had a hysterectomy last year that cost $3,000.
No way. Really?
Where does this lady get this kind of money? Anytime you do surgery on a bird, it's a risk, she says, but I'm optimistic. I think this will make her very happy. It's worth it. She's going to go into surgery, and the doctor's actually going to amputate her right leg, and then they'll run a CAT scan on Cicely's left leg to be used for a 3D printed prosthetic. Wow. The chicken will be sent home to rest for 2 weeks before returning to Tufts for her fitting.
Wow.
Similar surgeries have been performed on other creatures, but the doctor believed it was the first time it's ever been attempted on a chicken.
Who does that?
It tastes like chicken.
Mike says that's nothing. KFC has been serving fake legs for
Oh, better than fake boobs.
years.
She plans on writing a children's book about the experience once the chicken is healed.
There has never been a time in all of the years now, 6 years we've been doing this show, where we've been able to do like a follow-up on a Who Does That.
Right.
We've got one local to us here.
We really
in Clinton.
should.
We are going on a road trip, and we are going to do a follow-up on this
We
chicken.
have to.
I want pictures of
We
you
have
holding
to.
this chicken.
All right, we'll find her.
All right.
We'll find her.
We're going to
That'd
the
be
farm.
great.
We're going
like
to the chicken
with a
farm.
fake leg.
And then what we'll do from there is we'll go to Wright's Chicken Farm, and we'll have all the chicken we can eat. How's that?
No.
No.
No. Second story comes out of LA, completely across from the East Coast.
That would be the
is
Leominster
West
area.
Coast.
Oh, you mean LA? Okay.
It's not Canadian.
It's not
You guys probably saw this on the news. If you were just as grossed out as I was, then you're going to like this story. Bottles of asparagus water that were priced at $5.99 at a Whole Foods store in LA were made incorrectly.
Oh, no.
So not only did somebody do this, and then a boss approved it, and then they manufactured it, and then they stocked the shelves with it, made price tags for it, but it was all a mistake.
What?
The asparagus water went viral online after Marielle Wakeham posted a picture to Instagram of the bottles showing how pricey products in a store at this Brentwood neighborhood was a mere bottle of water with 3 stalks of uncooked asparagus floating inside.
Oh.
If your pee didn't already smell like asparagus, now
Really,
they're trying to
huh?
promote water that's infused with asparagus.
That's going to make your pee smell that much quicker.
Somewhere in LA, Whole Foods executives are laughing at all of us, Wakeham wrote. A representative for the LA area Whole Foods store said the product was made by mistake. There's been some miscommunication around this product. It was meant to be water with the essence of vegetables and or mushrooms to be used as broth, similar to a bone broth.
Right.
Which are typically made over a long period of time soaking in water.
Okay.
The representative told the Hollywood Reporter the product was made incorrectly. It has nothing to do with asparagus and bottled water for $5.99, though. That's what's killing me. Product was made incorrectly and has since been removed from one store, the Brentwood one, where it was carried. The representative said, "We would love your help clarifying that this product is not available and was removed from the store as soon as this issue was brought to our attention."
Okay.
It was all
Who
a mistake.
does that?
It was just all a mistake.
You know, I don't mind the infused water. I like the cucumber water. You go to a fine hotel, you'll see they got a little orange water, a little lemon water, a little cucumber water. But what the hell is this crap? Really? I mean, asparagus water?
Somebody set a price on that
Ugh.
water. This was not a mistake.
$5?
They were just trying to
Really?
pawn this off on people to see how it went.
That's terrible.
And then they're trying to say like it was supposed to be broth, like for cooking in. So where
Broth?
was the chicken?
So they look like they're packaging it up for like, you know, your local gym.
Yeah.
Get it out of the vending machine at the gym,
Exactly.
you know? That's not for broth.
And there was a
You
UPC
shouldn't
code
be.
made for it. So yeah, they're a bunch of liars.
That's a bunch of crap.
Third story of the evening comes from Leeming Bar, England.
Leaning Bar. I like the name of the town
Leeming,
already.
not leaning,
Leeming?
Leeming.
Well, most people be leaning on the bar. So.
Leeming.
What's a leeming bar? What is a leeming bar?
I don't know what leeming means or to leam.
What's to?
I know what to leer means or to lean, but however,
All right, first
leaning-
person in the chat room that tells us what leeming means is going to win a CD. We need to know what's
Okay,
leeming.
give her out a prize. So while we're waiting on a winner tonight, a British motorist pulled over for driving with bald tires told police that the sheep in his back car was just along for the ride to McDonald's.
Sheep. A sheep.
Bald tires.
Bald tires and a sheep.
The North Yorkshire Police Roads Policing Group, which shared a picture of the car and its woolly passenger on Twitter, said the motorist was pulled over Wednesday evening when an officer noticed that 2 of its tires were completely bald. The officer soon discovered that there was a full, real-life sheep in the back seat of the car.
That's bad.
You have to be kidding. The police tweet read, so EWE, you have to be kidding. That's cute. Police spokesman told the Northern Echo that the motorist explained he had just taken the sheep with him for a quick trip to McDonald's in Leeming Bar. Because the sheep needed to go. Some people take their dogs in their cars. I take my sheep, the man was quoted to the officer. Hey, nothing wrong with that. I'm sorry. Follow-up tweet indicated that the officer did not necessarily approve of the motorist's meal choice. Let's just bitch some more. Yeah, really. The motorist allegedly had just been through the Golden Arches drive-thru using the apparently judgmental hashtag of other fast food is available. They're not busting on him at all. Police spokesman quipped that the department would have liked to have gotten a clearer photo of the spectacle. We have no other information apart from what the officer tweeted, although we might equip our officers with better high-definition cameras. This is big news in Leeming Bar, man. If anybody wants to go cause a ruckus, Leeming Bar is the place to be.
All right.
Who does that?
Now, we have 2 answers. We have a lemming and a leeming.
Leeming.
Okay, because a lemming was a small animal that Walt Disney threw off of a cliff, I guess. That was a lemming.
Why did he throw off a cliff?
A leeming is a town in North Yorkshire, England. I think I'd go with the town, Shan. What do you think?
Let's go back to Walt Disney. What the hell did he do? He threw off an animal off a cliff?
According to Mike, lemming is a small animal that Walt Disney threw off a cliff. Mike, I'd like to see you expand on that just a little bit, because we really have no idea what the hell you're talking about.
Mike's now talking about, you take your date where you want, and he'll take his date where he wants.
That's true. Now, I do have to ask, did the sheep get a little nervous going through the McDonald's drive-thru? Because we really don't know.
That was not included in the article.
But we don't know what that mystery meat is, Shan. Could maybe the scent of a relative
no,
in there?
He just didn't. He was just tired of bad food at Burger King.
I knew you were. I knew you were going to do that. There you go. Well played, my dear.
I don't know.
All right, so we're going to send Greg a CD. So stick around, Greg, after the show here. We'll hook you up with something.
Craig's a winner.
Letting us know that Leeming is a town in North Yorkshire, England.
I might have to include a fudge macaroon in that CD. I just baked some today, Greg. So
really?
You're an extra
Fudge
winner
macaroon.
today. I'll have to make it an extra thick envelope, but we'll make that work.
Okay.
He's all excited in the chat room.
Oh yeah. Okay. Very cool. Very cool. So yeah, it's been quite a week. I mean, a busy week since we last hooked up here. We're glad to be in front of you guys and behind these microphones again. We are surviving the heat. We're surviving the thunderstorms, the tornado watches, surgery in the last couple of weeks. Shannon, you've been through it all. And in the midst of that, you have a huge expansion going on down there at Shancakes. How's that going, by the way?
It's going. It's been dusty and loud, but today we passed all our inspections. So
okay.
We have to put in the sheetrock to where we combined the 2 different buildings. And
so you're doubling in size.
Yeah, 368 Central Street is now
366.
So I'm going to stay 368 just because I think I'm used to it.
Yeah.
And all my mail already goes there, so I don't know how that works.
Okay.
And we're going to put in floors probably early next week, and then I'm done. I just got to furnish it up and put up decorations and paint. And
okay. So the reason you're expanding, and we're not going to give anything away, I know you want to keep some stuff under wraps, but I will tell you that the new Shancakes, the new expanded, doubled in size Shancakes, is going to include something of the confectionery nature, folks, that you have never, ever seen in your life anywhere in this entire world. And I will say, Shannon, that the idea is absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, I think so,
too.
I have them once in a while.
So guys, you got to stay tuned.
We have some custom stuff being built just for us.
You got to stay tuned to find out more, but I will tell you that this is a one-of-a-kind. No one else anywhere that we've had, and we've been all over the country, Shannon. You've been all over the world, for God's sakes. There isn't anybody doing what you're going to be doing.
Nope.
So.
No, I am unique.
Awesome. Yes, you are.
It's going to be good. It's going to be good. The classroom is huge. It's ridiculous. And we might do movie nights and some fun things there.
I think we should start holding our holidays there. Have some parties and stuff.
I mean, honestly, it wouldn't be a bad idea having the whole upstairs just outfitted for a huge ass dinner, because we're going to have the room now, and It's exciting. It's exciting.
And we talked earlier to Dennis, who does a lot for charity, and you do as well. You do a lot for charity, and you also help a lot of special groups. And one of the groups that you help out is Diamond in the Sky, who we want to give a nice shout out to. And they help autistic children in the Worcester County area.
Yeah.
And they do a little bit
all
of
kinds of
painting
functions.
party.
Yeah, I mean, we could do different things with them now. I mean, paintings in, so we can do painting parties at the shop for the kids, include desserts. And we've been working with them for the cupcake and cake decorating parties for quite some time now, since last year. And we're also going to be introducing some 3D art, edible 3D art classes coming out of Shancake's, which has never been done before. So very unique.
Often imitated, never duplicated, right there on 368 Central Street. And we're not telling anything yet until it comes out, because we know that others like to. It's funny because you put something up there, you come out with a new idea, you come out with a new cake or a new flavor. Yeah. And next thing you know, it's everywhere. Everybody wants to try to do it. So we're definitely going to have you get the jump on this. And when people find out what you're doing, kid, it's going to be huge. I think
thank you. I mean,
I'm so proud of you.
Thanks to a lot of encouragement and positivity in my life, and this has just been going pretty smoothly. Everything has been, so
that is
can't
awesome.
complain.
Speaking of going smoothly, I'm going to announce that we are going to be doing a morning show here pretty soon on LATV. It's going to be LATV is going to have a morning show every single morning at 9:30 starting in September. I am going to be taking the Monday shift. Jack and Jane are going to be continuing on Tuesday and Wednesday with the Jack and Jane show. I'm back in front of you on Thursday with some more music, and on Friday I'm going to swap Fridays with Mike Cooley, and he'll do Cool Talk one Friday, and I'll do the morning show the next Friday. So every single morning on LATV, we're going to bring you a morning show that's going to have music from the, let's call it 50s, 40s, even back further, right up until now.
The golden 20s.
Yeah, I'm going to do some nostalgic music.
Nice.
We're going to play some games. We're going to take some phone calls. We'll have some people sit in. We'll have you come in, bring us a little breakfast. How's that?
Nice.
Yeah?
I would love that.
Okay. We want to thank everybody over at LATV for helping us do what we do. Carl and Tina right at the top there, right down to Jack, Jane, and Robert. Everybody there is just a tremendous team, and we're very, very pleased to be part of what they do and have them be part of what we do. We want to remind you guys again to follow us on Twitter. I'm at Jeff Sylvia. She's at Shannon.
You're Jeff
Sylvia.
Jeffrey L.
Sylvia. You're at Shannon Sylvia. And we are at Up for Discussion together, the both of us as well.
Yes.
And definitely follow us on Facebook, because that's where you can find out what's going on. There's always a contest going on. We've got a little discussion going on. We want to hear from you guys and hear what your opinions of the week are. And we are going to put the QR code up there, so you guys watching on your computers and on your televisions, all you got to do is walk up to that QR code, scan it, and you're at the party. And you can also follow us on our YouTube channel. I'll give a little shout out to Ben, the intern, who's been helping us out there, because Shannon, I'm almost 50 and I don't speak YouTube like the kids do. So they got it all organized, kids. We got playlists, we've got descriptions, we've got all kinds of stuff now. So it's going to be easier than ever to find not only your favorite shows on Up for Discussion, but all of the great shows on the network as well. So on behalf of myself and my beautiful co-host, the lovely Shannon Sylvia, and the whole crew here, we want to thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next week.
See you next Tuesday.
Good night.
I can get out now.